What's going on, ladies and DeGents, boys and girls of all ages? Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Distinguished DeGents podcast, your one in many homes of degenerate gambling. I'm one half of the Distinguished DeGents. My name is Steve Big Bucks Abeta. Joining me as always, welcome back, my co-host, my partner in gambling, the one and only Jason Money Mansman. Money Mansman, welcome back from your brief timeout. I wouldn't say you necessarily had a bye week, but
had to take a bye. That's for sure.
Yeah, not a bye week, but you had to call a timeout. So hopefully everything's good. All your affairs are taken care of. What's it like right now in the Mansman household? I know you didn't really recap anything from last week, but did you have anything you wanted to tell the folks that was missed on my end?
15-1 money line for me. I'm down one in the Kaser contest, down a point in the Kaser contest. So life is good on the gambling end. I got my money line pick too. I would have picked the Detroit money line, so would have gotten that pick in. So that's good, but it's been busy. So good to talk a little football with you tonight, buddy.
Hell yeah, man. And great transition. Let's get into that Thursday night football game. The Green Bay Packers 31, Detroit Lions 34. The over 51.5 does hit, so I was wrong on the under. Packers do end up covering the 3.5 on the spread. Lions do squeak away with the victory with the last-minute field goal, all due to David Montgomery on the 4th and short, running it down the middle to get the first down so they can stop the clock and kick the game winner. I did briefly text you during this game. The fucking balls on Dan Campbell in this game. That was the theme I kind of took away from it, but I will say one more thing. It's the same type of shit we saw against San Francisco. We're getting to the point in the year, I think this ballsiness of Dan Campbell, it's going to cost him. Like, that shit's going to tally up, and it's going to go wrong one of these days. Might be sooner rather than later. I would hate to see Detroit be a one-and-done team.
Well, I mean, you could just as easily play too conservative and lose. I think it's so weird. What strikes me is it made sense when the Lions sucked for Dan Campbell to be like this because, again, you're 2-10, you play high-variance games, nobody cares. I give him a lot of credit considering how good the Lions are. Basically, well, no, not basically. I think they're the best team in football.
Yeah.
The way they've been playing and as consistent as they've been, it's very ballsy for a team that good to still be playing like this because most of the time it's just easy. Conventional wisdom, you're still good. Okay, you drop a game to Green Bay on a Thursday night in December, nobody cares. So the fact that they're still playing this aggressively and that's a staple for the Lions. That's a staple for Dan Campbell, and good for him, good for the Lions. It's good to see them playing well. I like this Lions team.
I do too, and honestly, if neither of our teams ends up making it, I'll be a Lions fan through and through. I hope they get one and finally win one for Detroit and their franchise. I will say, though, this is what pissed me off, and this is why I think Detroit didn't end up getting the cover, and I won't say it was because of the interception. They went for it on 4th and short very early. I think it was in the 3rd on their own, like 28 or 30. And it was a miss. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Green Bay is like one play away from the red zone. That's the kind of shit that I think Dan Campbell, like in the playoffs, like if you're down points and you do that, sure. He had no reason to do that. He was up. You could have punted the ball, at least make them work for it, at least make them, like, drive the ball. I don't know what the point of that play was. It just seems so, like, unnecessarily risky, in my opinion. And that's why, like, it worries me down the line. Like, it's like if he does it every play, it's exciting. I love it. The over-aggression is, like, his staple. But like I said, that's the shit that might cost him. So I feel like he just needs to meet somewhere in the middle or at least get a little bit away and just have somebody there to like gut check him. But great win for Detroit overall.
Yeah, great win. As for Green Bay, real quick, This feels like this game Green Bay in a nutshell, where it's like they're good, but you feel like they could be so much better. Jordan Love had another shit game, not very good. Josh Jacobs, boy, was I wrong about him. I thought he was there. He's just chugging along. Put three
touchdowns for Jacobs.
My fantasy team clinging on to dear life.
At least you didn't start Jaden Reed in fantasy.
Ouch.
Yeah, literally Jaden Reed saying, watch what happens when I come to Green Bay, and he does absolutely nothing. RIP to the fantasy teams that did start Jaden Reed. Jordan Love, 12 for 20, 206, 1 touchdown. I mean, I don't know what to make of Jordan Love, quite frankly. Me and you were like one of the first people. I feel like we were all over the Packers in the beginning of the season, kind of like, okay, this is way too much hype. They're still a young team. They really weren't that good. They kind of just caught some late fire. And they beat a fraudulent Cowboys team, and then they played, I think it was the Niners, real close. Now all of a sudden, the Packers
they murdered the Niners because the Niners had a backup quarterback in.
Yeah, so it was like, really, was it really a good play? Were they really a good team? And now we're kind of seeing, like, I think through the injuries and whatnot, they're still a competitor. Do I think the Packers are a playoff team? Absolutely. I really do believe they are a playoff team. They're a great wild card team, and I think they will make the wild card. Do I think they're going to make it as far as they did as last year? No, I don't. Primarily, number one, because of the injuries. But number two, I just think that this team just needs more time to get it together. They need more time. They need more games. They need a stronger strength of schedule. They need a stronger showing before I have any faith.
I got to say, CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, not that Jordan Love's a second-year quarterback, but those two, so hyped. And they've been very disappointing this year. Well, to me, though, I always thought Jordan Love, he had a good half a season last year in garbage time, and they somehow made the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's been just a mediocre quarterback all year. Discount Patty Mahomes. We have a discount Josh Allen. We have a discount Patty Mahomes. That's what Jordan Love is. That's what he reminds me of, like a discount Pat Mahomes. Maybe a discount Aaron Rodgers. I don't know.
NFC version of Pat Mahomes. Yeah, I'll give you his yearly stats so far. And mind you, this was he missed a game earlier, a game or two. 2,724 passing yards. He has 21 touchdowns, but 11 interceptions. 3 straight weeks, though, without a pick. I mean, this guy was a turnover machine, which really I think it kind of was the problem. The turnovers were killer, but he does have a 96.4 average rating. So, I mean, he's definitely one of the 32 starters in the NFL. I don't take that away from him, but massively overhyped. Here's the difference, though, and I think this also comes down to coaching. Both the Texans and the Packers went out and got new running backs. The Texans, they got Joe Mixon. They also went and got Stephon Diggs. And Stroud has just honestly been the massive disappointment. Mixon has been a stud too. The problem is they're trying to force CJ Stroud into these situations. They're trying to make CJ Stroud work. Whereas I think the Packers and where the late turn has come, they started utilizing Josh Jacobs more. They started relying less on Jordan Love. And now they're hanging in tough, closer games, and they're actually getting these wins. I think that's been the difference between the two teams.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right, so that was Thursday Night Football. We have, I believe, remaining 12 NFL Week 14 games. We've got a couple of divisional games. We've got a couple non-conference games, all AFC teams going on the road to the NFC. We've got a couple shit games, too, that we're going to have to get through. But, Money Man, I didn't give out any of my best bets yet, so we still got 5. In these kinds of games where you have limited picks, you have limited options in terms of what to make your best bet. What was your strategy going into this week? Just to try to find the best of the numbers and trying to find really value when, options are limited.
I think you're 100% correct. That is the goal for a week like this. I think you try, especially at this time of the year, you're trying not to overthink things. And I don't know. I mean, you'll see. I have a couple of kind of quirky plays. Maybe that's just because it hasn't, I haven't had the most time to sort of drill down and handicap each game, maybe the way I'd like to. But I think I'm going to surprise you with some of my picks this week. And there's a couple really interesting lines that are, I think, make for some interesting games.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like a lot of the games on paper, I think money line wise are very, very predictable. I don't think it takes too much to think about it. If you've been following the NFL season all year, the lines that the books have, I swear, it's like some of these lines that opened up really kind of like made me scratch my head. And the sharp bettors' reactions to it too have made me like shake my head even more and going like, what the fuck is this gambling market right now? What are these bettors? Like, I've literally had that reaction on multiple games so far. And there's been a couple games too where I'm like, I'm sure this line's going to move. Like, I better get the better of this number now. And it's just gone the opposite direction. And I'm like, again, I'm like, what the, am I really? And I've never had good history on those types of games. So I'm like, am I really on the wrong side? Like, it's a very weird, quirky, it's crunch time though. I mean, when you only have this many games, when you're into week 14, not many more opportunities to make the motherfucking money like we normally do. We're going to get into the playoffs where it's even less. You got to be more specific and where you have to throw a lot of these trends out the window and just go off, essentially recency bias, it feels like.
Bro, you're talking to the CLV king. And by the way, last week, we'll start off the week. Last point about last week. 10 unit profit for me last week.
All right. There you go.
I was on fire last. Probably my best betting week of the year. Like I hit everything last week. It was crazy. It was a great week.
All I'm going to say is thank God for Denver, because if Denver did not come through, probably would have only been like a 2-unit profit, but Denver coming in clutch, 12-unit profit. So nice. Yeah, very good week in the Abeda household. We're trying to keep the streak alive. And I gave out the numbers. I'm still slightly above 50% ATS. Money line, I've been crushing it. Over unders, I'm doing like about 53%. But at the end of the week, we'll go into the next episode. I'll actually give out the updated numbers. But yeah, we got 12 remaining games. Week 14, it's very quirky. We'll start with the 1 o'clock slate where we have 3, 6, 7, 8 games, I want to say. Oh, so we got 13 games left, actually. It looks, I guess 13 games. 7 games in the 1 o'clock window. We're kicking it off with one of the games that I think could be potential shit game of the week contender. The Las Vegas Raiders, Aiden O'Connell, they are traveling in a battle of the Pirates to Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium. Plus 235 for the Raiders as a non-conference road underdog. Bucks are minus 290. The over-under is set at 46.5 points, slightly in favor of the under at minus 115. According to FanDuel, percentage of bets, 66% in favor of Tampa, 75% of the money also going to Tampa to cover this game. This game looked a little bit like it was going to drop down to the 6, 5.5, quickly bounce back up. So this line's it's actually been one of the ones that have stayed put, really hasn't moved. So I introduced Thursday Night Mansman. I'm going to have you open up the show. Give us your take here on the Battle of the Pirates.
Yeah, right. So this game for me is Tampa or nothing play. The one thing with the Raiders, you know me, I always feel like with the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell could keep the game close. And you saw that when they played Kansas City, because he will not do the Gardner Minshew 3 interceptions to completely just like ruin a football game. He'll keep it close. He'll be boring. He'll do enough to keep it close. But we talked about it, I think, before the year. We thought Tampa had a good chance to win the division. Tampa's schedule has gotten really light. And I think the Tampa Bay offense is better. I think the Raiders they can't run the ball. We know the Raiders can't run the ball. So they're going to have to throw. Tampa's defense is pretty bad against the pass. Like, I don't know. This is tough because I could see the Raiders like losing by 5 or 6. But for me, I'm going to have to go Tampa's at home. They're the favorite. They need a win. Basically, every game's a playoff game for them. I don't see them losing to the Raiders. I think Baker Mayfield's going to put up points in this game. I'm going Tampa all the way here.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too cute and bet the Raiders money line either here, especially when they're on the road as a non-conference dog. I wouldn't even bother throwing them in a round robin, but I don't like betting on the Raiders, especially when they're on the road. But I do think that at this number come game time, if it jumps to 7 or 7.5, I actually think you do switch. And I'm not, you know me, I'm normally not like this. I normally pick a team and stick with it. And I usually say, like, once you're at a hard number, it's like you really give a 2-point difference, maybe a 3-point difference you reconsider. This is one of those rare games. I think if it hits 7, you have to switch. Here's why.
Very Raiders, too. You have not been like you, I feel like, kind of grudgingly picked them against Kansas City last time.
Actually, that was more of a spot play and getting a big number. That really was what it came down to. It really wasn't that I liked the Raiders. I was just like, look, I can't bet the Chiefs as a big favorite. And it's a divisional spot. Like, this is going to just naturally be close. And again, it's like a typical Raiders-Chiefs game. There was a point in the game, the Chiefs were up by 10, and you were getting worried. You were like, oh, shit, is this really going to be the game? And then, no, the Raiders come back, and, like, it always happens that way. It just seems like that wasn't begrudgingly. But the reason I say this, and I have to credit Steve Fezzik. He explains this a lot better than I will here. But here's my point, and this is what I'm going to think of. So when you bet a line at 6.5, and when you bet that at minus 110, that is essentially an implied odds of 52.3%. So basically, out of 100 games, if I bet this spread at 6.5, well, guess what happens? It basically means I'm going to win 52 times out of 100. I'm going to lose 48, but I'll probably still profit a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, what happens if I bet this at 7? And now, management, correct me if I'm wrong. Even, I guess, same odds, I guess, if it just jumps to half a number or even a full number, say it goes to 7.5, but it's still minus 110. Or actually, no, I shouldn't say 7.5. Let me rephrase. It jumps to 7. What happens if it's the same odds? Well, you don't actually win 52% of the times, because what happens is you have to credit for the games that actually end in 7 out of those situations, and those end up being pushes, and you don't win. And if you parlay those, depending on the book, you lose that ticket. So instead of having it real implied odds of 52%, it actually drops down to more like 48, 47%. Whereas if you bet the opposite, where if you bet it plus 7, your odds actually go up at hitting or pushing, and you actually get the push.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of those games. It could end at 7. I'm right there with you. I think, like, worst case scenario, this is going to be a 13-point game going into the last 2 minutes. Raiders will have the ball. They'll go score a meaningless touchdown and go for 2 and blow this cover.
You could see that. You could 100% see that in this game. I could definitely see that.
So, yeah, like, for me, it's like I'm with you. It is Tampa or nothing in this spot. I think it's 7 or higher. I flip to the Raiders. I love this, but honestly, it's like either way, regardless of what sharp angle you want to go at, this is a great teaser leg either way. You could bet the Raiders up to 12.5 in a teaser. I don't hate that either. Bet the Tampa Bay Bucks down to half a point, which I think a lot of the public is going to be doing, so I would just be a little wary. So I think if this goes to 7, tease it to 13 and just, get yourself on that cover. But nobody really wins that way too much. Here's like my trends real quick just to get off this game. Aiden O'Connell has actually covered 4 straight as a road underdog. He's a 4-1 ATS all time. 4 of those 5 spreads, though, were 6.5 or higher. And ironically enough, it puts him at 3-1 ATS. He covered a 3.5 against Indy earlier in the year to make the difference. And Tampa has not been this large of a home favorite since they were 6-point favorites against Denver under the Baker Mayfield era. They lost that game outright.
Yeah.
And they're coming off an overtime game against the Carolina Panthers, and the Raiders are getting extended rest. But like I said, like I already made my point. It is Tampa or nothing here. Love it as a teaser leg. And in terms of the over-under, I'm going over 46.5 just because I could see the Raiders defense really struggling against the air raid offense that it seems like Baker Mayfield is enforced in this Bucs offense. Mike Evans being in the huddle makes a big difference. The Raiders really can't run the ball, which means they are going to throw it, but I do have to admit Aiden O'Connell with his connections to at least Jacoby Myers, that seems to be important too, in my opinion. So I can see it squeaking over at this low number.
Yeah. No, definitely. When you look at it, both teams 8-4 to the over. Games in Tampa have been 4-2 to the over. And I think Tampa, especially, I think it's like 7 of the last 9 have gone over. So they've been putting up points, and 46, kind of an average number. I definitely see this game going over. It wouldn't surprise me if Tampa puts up 30 alone. And no offense, like I know Tampa's defense, unfortunately, they burned me because they shut down Tommy Cutlets the last time over on Tampa. But I see this game being an over game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, moving on. We got an interesting AFC North battle. It's the Cleveland Brownies and not Deshaun the misogynist, but it's actually Jameis, our Lord and Savior Winston. They're 6.5-point road dogs, plus 260. They're going to Pittsburgh up against Russell, Mr. Unlimited. Minus 320, home favorites, minus 6.5. Over-under is 43.5 points. In Pittsburgh, they're getting 71% of the money, 59% of the bets. Cleveland had a really weird fan resurgence lately. It seems like everybody's in love with Jameis Winston now. Do you think, before I go into my handicap, do you think it's like affecting the market in any way? Or do you think sharp bettors are taking advantage of the situation?
So particularly the public side's Cleveland, you're saying?
I think there's been a lot of public sentiment with Jameis Winston. Like everybody loves Jameis.
I was confused. Who's getting the majority of the bets?
Steelers look like on FanDuel are getting a majority of the money in the bets. Well, so they're getting a majority of the money, but the tickets are only like a 60-40 split. It's not nearly as like mirrored.
Oh, well. So
do you think that like the public is getting in on this Jameis love and they're just seeing a 6.5 and being like, well, it's Jameis. I like Jameis.
Yeah.
Or do you think there's like a legitimate reason?
No, I think they're in love with Jameis and the team has played better. And remember, the first game in the snow in Cleveland, the Browns beat the Steelers.
Yeah. So look, I know last week
was like, oh,
go ahead.
Steelers lost. I'm Barney. Let's go Brownies.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Look, last week some people were arguing that the Browns should have won. They should have at least covered if Jameis doesn't throw in 2 pick sixes and fuck it up. But I'm going to reiterate a point that I made in the past. Betting on divisional road underdogs is not always the most profitable. Now, in the AFC, this year they've gone 9-5-1 ATS, but they're only 4-11 straight up. I think if you're going to be a Barney and bet on Cleveland, who's coming off of their zenith, they are coming off arguably their best game, that they still found a way to lose, by the way. They came off a game where they essentially blew out the number 4, number 5 defense in the NFL with Jerry Jeudy. Now you're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are still the number 5 or number 6 defense in their home territory, so you're in a back-to-back road spot. But this time, snow isn't going to be a factor. And now let's not mention the flowchart angle where the Browns have a horrendous history of playing in Pittsburgh. 2-21 straight up all time in this millennia. 2-21. So if I'm betting Cleveland, you have to ignore the fact that the Steelers have also covered 6 straight at home against divisional opponents. If you're going to bet Cleveland, you have to basically assume, well, I just think Russell Wilson's going to shit the bed here in this spot. So you're going to just ignore that Jameis shit the bed last week too, but okay. And I like the story of Jameis. I think he deserves another chance of being a starting quarterback, truth be told. I think Cleveland would be dumb to let him go. But I said the same thing about Joe Flacco last year. That turned out to be the right move. This is Pittsburgh or nothing for me. I just don't get why all of a sudden Pittsburgh's bad and Cleveland's good. Like, Jameis literally blew his chance at least getting a cover. And if he did cover against the Broncos, I at least go and think, well, he kept it close, but he literally found a way to fuck it up. Why can't he do it here again?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're 100% right. I'm right there with you. I'm not going to make this one of my best plays, but yeah, I'm all over the Steelers here. Like you said, clear flow chart angle. Pittsburgh just owns the Browns, and especially the revenge factor. There's a revenge factor of losing that game in the snow. Pittsburgh's worst performance in a while. You know they want revenge. They own the Browns in Pittsburgh. Cleveland coming off a short rest after the Monday night game. Like, I don't think this game's going to go well for Cleveland. And this was one of the guys on one of the podcasts I listened to actually had like Pittsburgh as his best bet for all the reasons you described. He gave all the numbers. Mike Tomlin specifically basically just slaughters the Browns in his history. I think it's not only just like winning. I think the average points like above the spread he's won by is like 7 points throughout his career. So he just kills the Browns in Pittsburgh. I see no reason. Okay, J-Mo basically threw 6 touchdowns last week, 2 to the Broncos. I see no reason to really think that this is going to go any differently. Give me the Steelers here. I think this is a safe play.
Gotcha. What do you make of the over/under? This one, 43.5.
Cleveland on the road always seems to be over. And the Steelers have actually been an over team, especially since Russell Wilson has come by. This game was 43 points in the snow. It's at 43.5 this week. I think I'd have to look to the over here.
Yep, and this is going to be my over of the week, over 43.5 for all the reasons you just listed. I'll give you a couple more numbers too. The Browns, since Jameis took over starting quarterback, 4-1 to the over. It was 43.5 in the snow. It's 43.5 in normal weather. I think even just looking at these two teams, like what happens here in this spot? You either basically get the Browns who threw 6 touchdowns, 2 to the other opponents, and this over is going to hit by halftime. Or either offense, like basically what I'm going to say is like Cleveland's offense is better with Jameis, so they're just naturally going to score points and push this over. Or the Steelers' defense is also coming off of a big game against Cincy where they gave up 30 plus to them. Now they were on the field for just as long, like 30, I think it was like 28 to 33 minutes time of possession. So now you have to show up again against this Jameis Winston guy who clearly shows he's not afraid to throw the fucking ball to anyone. But you also have a Russell Wilson balling out of his mind again. He himself could get 30 to 40 on his own in this game. Like, I just think this line to not have moved whatsoever, despite what both teams are doing, the offense and defense, fucking asinine for the market. So I love the over. This to me is like, I would bet Steelers like spread in the over, but I think I'm going to parlay the money line in the over. Probably get closer to a plus 180, maybe realistically 160, but that is my play because I really, really love the over and I really love the Steelers to win in this spot.
You're great.
I think I'm going to make that a live bet, but while I do that, I'll introduce the next game and I'll let you go. All right, shit game number 2. It is an AFC South battle. It is Mac Jones and the Jacksonville Jaguars as a 3.5-point road dog. They are traveling plus 148 on the money line too. The Tennessee Titans with Will Levis minus 3.5, minus 176 on the money line. The over-under is 39.5. Tennessee is getting 64% of the bets and 68% of the money, despite the fact they are the worst ATS team all year out of any team in the NFL. They are 2-9-1 ATS, but we're going to be the public and bet on the Titans, right? Down to 3 at other books.
Okay, you know what? Whatever. I'll be fun. This is my best bet of the week. Give me the Titans minus 3.5. Like, I just get the numbers away. Like, okay, it's the shit game of the week. Tennessee is better than Jacksonville. Like, why is this only 3.5? Mac Jones is the quarterback. Like,
oh my God,
it's not that bad. Like, you look at their numbers. Let me look at the Titans' defensive numbers now. Okay, 16th against the run. They've definitely gone down. They're first against the pass. They're the 27th scoring defense in the league. It just makes no sense. Like, their numbers are better than their performance. And this is the type of week where something's got to give. Jacksonville's no good. Mac Jones is no good. I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm throwing the numbers away. I actually bet this already. It just was a number that stuck out to me as just crazy. Like, I don't know. You're basically saying that Tennessee and Jacksonville are even teams. And maybe with Trevor Lawrence, I would agree with that. Mac Jones is not an NFL quarterback. We saw that. We saw it last week. They're not good. They're in Tennessee. Tennessee needs a win. Give me the Tennessee Titans. There's no reason to actually bet this game except we're degenerates. So I'm going to be a degenerate. I'm finally going to hop on the Sharps darling that has cost them thousands of dollars this year. Give me the Tennessee Titans at 3.5 points.
Is this still 3.5 on Deke? I'm curious about.
DK's 3 minus 115.
Son of a bitch. So I bet this at 3.5, but it was at minus 108. So I guess I got a little bit better of odds on it. Not by much, but yeah, I'm right there with you. This is like a smash spot for Tennessee because I really just don't think there's going to be any other opportunity to do so. Blindly betting the home favorite here in this, like, again, you have a divisional dog in a flowchart game where the Titans have gone 10-2 straight up at home against the Jags in the last 12 years. And I have to martingale this game because my dumbass bet on the Titans plus 6 against the Commanders. So not only do I have to bet a unit, I have to bet 2 units to get my money back. So not exactly thrilled. I do hate this game. I'm not making it a best bet, but I'm glad you did because it makes me feel a little bit better. But my thinking, like here, it was like, okay, well, what's my logic if I'm betting on the Jags? Okay, I'm Barney. I'm betting on the Jags. Okay, Barney. Here's what I'm going to say to you. Is Mac Jones a good quarterback all of a sudden? The Jags play one weird close game against the Texans, and now this team is bettable. Mac Jones on the road as a starting quarterback. That's your angle you're betting, Barney. You think that's a good idea? Well, what's your count? Well, Titans they're not bettable either. We've made that point. It's a fair argument. They haven't been good ATS, but where do the Titans get up in divisional spots? They beat the Texans this year in this divisional spot. They beat the Jags last year in this spot to ruin their playoff chances. Dogs don't win. They're 4-11 straight up in the AFC. Really? Like, we're just going to bet Mac Jones on the road. Like, I've heard a lot of sharps say we need to go Jacksonville plus 3.5. They're like, well, Tennessee's no longer – like, now they're hopping off the train. They're hopping off the train literally as they're already off the cliff.
Yeah, to be fair, they literally sunk their life savings into the Titans. Well, yeah. Now they're jumping off the train, literally falling to their death because they're off the cliff. Oh, and by the way, here's the biggest stat. Maybe this is why. What are the Titans' offense? What's the worst thing about the Titans' offense? The turnovers. Jacksonville, second worst defense in the league at causing turnovers. There we go.
I don't even think they have many turnovers in general this year. Let me see what they're
0.7 a game, 31st in the league.
They have 8 this year. They're literally 31st in the league in just general turnovers.
I mean, there you go. Like, if you needed a reason to think that Tennessee might get it done, and look, I'll give Jacksonville credit. They've played close against some tough teams. They don't have Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is gone. It's Mac Jones on the road in Tennessee. No thanks.
Oh God, this defense, they allow their opponents 70% of the time on fourth down, 44% on third down. That puts them, God, are they tied with the Niners? Yeah, they are. So that's tied for like 27th. I mean, the difference is you have 2 bad defenses, but here's the difference. Like, Jacksonville can't score. Literally, they lost a game 12-7. They lost a 4 field goal.
In a game where literally,
Mac Jones.
Well, you might say, oh, Jacksonville played close. No, literally 3 of their 8 turnovers came because Sam Darnold threw it to the wrong team. Like, they literally, half their turnovers came in one game.
That's a fucking fair point. Yeah, no, smash spot for the Titans. I can't fault you there. Quick on the over-under. I have under 39.5 here in this one. I just don't. Bro, how do you expect Mac, like, especially Jags team total under? That might be the bet. I don't know how the fuck you back this Jaguars team with Mac Jones here.
Yeah, Tennessee has been a deadbolt under team.
That's true.
I think if you like the Titans, you have to go under because I don't see Jacksonville like scoring. So, yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars team total on DraftKings right now is 17.5.
Wow.
Explain this to me, please. Like, I'm begging you.
I'm gonna have a separate bet on that. Yeah, that's way too high.
That's way too. Like, really? Like, we're really gonna do this?
Realize how bad Mac Jones is. I mean, I get it though. Oh, Tennessee got blown out by Washington. The difference is Washington, I know they were struggling. They're still a legitimate football team with a winning record. Jacksonville's going to be picking Travis Hunter in next year's draft. Like, that's the difference.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if they don't take what's his name? Sanders.
Well, to be fair, they paid Bozo all that money. They paid
we paid Russell Wilson too. We got rid of his ass. Like, the Giants paid Bozo Danny Dimeball to be a fucking backup in Minnesota. You don't think the Jags are beneath fucking starting over, like, to get Shedeur Sanders? I don't think he would go, but like I'm just playing devil's advocate.
God bless the team that gets Shedeur Sanders. I think that.
Oh, you haven't heard? So Shedeur Sanders has been like making a lot of posts on his social media. Every time the Raiders lose, he says like something like God is great and like I'm just blessed, and like he literally put a post up of the Allegiant Stadium. So it sounds like he really wants to go be a Raider. I don't know why, but
well, there we go. Let's see. Future Jamarcus Russell. Although I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to eat himself out of football, but I think he's a bust.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Could be a little overrated, but yeah, I'm live betting a unit. Jags under 17.5 team total. That's almost too easy. But moving on. Next, it is. Oh God, this one. Okay, I have nothing on this game, so I'm interested to get your opinion. Carolina at the Philadelphia Eagles. Carolina is now a 13.5 point road dog, plus 590 on the money line, minus 850 for the Eagles at home. Over under is 45.5. The Eagles are getting 75% of the money, 61% of the tickets. My thinking here is like, when is enough enough? Like, when are we gonna hop off the Bryce Young train now? Like, it's back on the rails. I'm happy for him. He does look good, but the mismatch here just seems to be way overwhelming here. I mean, let's look at the last few games with Bryce Young. He beat the Saints. He beat the Giants in Germany. They lost to the Chiefs damn near in overtime. Looked good in that game, but the Chiefs defense now looks like shit, considering how well they performed lately. They lost to Tampa in overtime after Chuba Hubbard fumbled the ball. Now it's the Eagles. And God, like double-digit favorites when it's not the fucking Chiefs have done really well this year.
Which is funny because earlier in the year they were all struggling, but that changed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do, and I don't know if this is the number scaring me off, but God, when in doubt, I'm just taking the points, but I do not feel good about it.
I think I'm going to avoid this game entirely because interesting number that I just stumbled upon, which I think makes a lot of sense. Eagles, 7 straight home games they have not covered against teams with losing records. And remember, earlier in the year, there was some gripes about the fact that the Eagles were not covering against bad teams. Remember the Jacksonville game where they were like, Nick Sirianni might get fired because they weren't covering? How stupid does that look that now they've won, 8 straight games and look fantastic? I think it's pretty clear the Eagles can win this game for fun. Carolina has no rush defense.
They have no defense at all.
Saquon Barkley might run for 250 in this game. That's a possibility. Not much else to say. It's Eagles or nothing, but I would actually play Carolina plus the points because I just have a feeling the Eagles are going to not, they'll win by 11 or they'll win by 10. It'll be an ugly game.
Or they'll be up 17 and then, they'll be up 14. They'll kick a field goal. They'll win by 11. It'll be something weird.
It's just so bad too because the Eagles defense is playing so much better. The Eagles defense.
Oh, they're phenomenal.
Better. So I don't even know what hope there is for Carolina. I don't know. This whole game's just a mess. I don't want to pick the Eagles with this high points. I think this is way out of control, but I don't want any part of Carolina either.
Yeah, and it seems like Jalen Hurts struggles against the NFC South for some reason. Listen to these numbers since 2023. Jalen Hurts is only 2-4 straight up in ATS against the NFC South. None of those games were Carolina, though. But, 2-4 ATS, that's 3 against the Bucs, 2 against the Saints, 1 against the Falcons. And they've only won 2. That's not a good look. And now we're asking them to cover a big 13.5. Especially with Bryce Young playing as well as he is. And I think this is the point in the year where the theme tonight is crunch time. There are certain teams where it's do or die week. You have to win this game. It's every week is a playoff game from here on out. Other teams are just in it to finish the season, and they're looking to play party ruiner. They're just looking to fuck someone's day up. They know they have no hope. The Carolina Panthers, I think, just have a realistic expectation of where they're at. I like the direction this coach has finally taken this team now that he's kind of gotten it together and just decided I'm going to ride Bryce Young out. I think the way that they've been playing, if they keep it up, I think Bryce Young earns another starting nod next year, truth be told. And I could just see them playing another close game, especially, too, the Eagles just came off a really tough game in Baltimore where really they should have lost because Justin Tucker can't kick a 3 anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said that in the recap, I was like, the Ravens could have won this. They literally left 7 points off the board. That would have won in the game.
Yeah, he kicked my money away.
Yeah, they sure shit did. So, and I don't know. Yeah, give me Carolina plus the points. This is a dead under game, though. I could just see the Eagles struggling here in this spot, too. It's a deadbolt. They're a deadbolt second half team. The Eagles really don't do much in the first half from what I've seen. Carolina, it seems to be a lot of the same thing. First half, they're slow. Second half, they pick it up. But they're coming off the overtime game, too. So I don't know, man. I just see both teams struggling in this. I think for a team for a game that's expected to be a blowout, that maybe a month ago we would have said. Now looking like it's going to be a lot closer, looking like it's going to be a lot of three and outs. Very boring kind of game.
I think I'd go under too, because if you think, either way, I don't see Carolina's offense scoring a lot of points in this game. So if it's going to be close, it's because the Eagles don't score that much. And if the Eagles blow them out, 38-3 gets it done.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So those games against the NFC South. So out of the 6 games there, 5-1 to the under. So seems to support that thesis. I think the Eagles, like you said, either they struggle or it is a blowout. But either way, 45.5 might be a little bit too high. All right, is my page going to load today? Yeah, it is. Okay, next up. It's Kirko Cousins in the revenge game. The Atlanta Falcons, 5.5-point road dogs. They're traveling plus 215 on the money line to the Space Dome in the Minnesota Vikings, who are laying 5.5 with Sam Darnold, minus 260. The over-under is 46.5. And current stats say that the Vikings are getting 64% of the money and 54% of the tickets. Oh, boy. I struggled with this game, too.
Oh, boy. You read my mind. Whose turn is it? Is it yours?
I think, let me see, because we just did the Panthers. You did your bet. I think it's your turn.
Is it? God damn. That sucks.
Yeah.
This game is giving me fits of trouble. This game, boy, oh boy. When in doubt, take the points. I think Kirko will. This is Kirko's last stand. To be honest with you, there's talks about Michael Penix getting the nod, which could very well happen if Kirko has another disaster of a game. I just think, I don't know, the Vikings have been struggling a little bit. They have not been as good recently. They beat Arizona by 1, Chicago by 3. They didn't look great against Tennessee. They struggled against Jacksonville. Indianapolis, their defense showed up, but their offense hasn't been great. I don't know. They've been winning a lot of close games, and this line just felt a little steep to me. I don't know if Minnesota should be a 5.5-point favorite in this game. I think you're going to get Kirk Cousins' best effort. Young Hoku is another kicker. Have you seen him the past couple
Oh, my God. Yeah, he shanks one every week.
It's like a disaster. This guy is shanking kicks every week now. I don't like the way Atlanta's headed. I actually think Atlanta is going to lose this game, but I don't want to take the Vikings with any margin at this stage in the game, this stage in the year. So I'm going to roll with Kirko. Last time, last stand, because when in doubt, take the points. So that's what I'm going to do.
I'm actually intrigued about something, so I'm going to try and look this up real quick. But you know what? What the fuck? I'm going to do this. You did this earlier. I'm going to do it. Fade of the week. We are fading the Minnesota Vikings here. I am taking Atlanta plus the points here. You listed a lot of the reasons that I was going to fade them, so I'll try not to reiterate and regurgitate all of what you said. I cannot find the spreads list. I will say, you mentioned point margins, and what I was thinking was this is the kind of game you bet the Vikings to win 1-6 and just call it a day, or 1-10. Maybe you get a little bit better boosted odds and you just play that depending on what the number is. I can't find it right now, so I'm just going to ignore it and just get straight into my handicap here. But, it's like you said, this is Kirko's last stand. Atlanta's social media is talking about that they need to start Michael Penix. All these other rookies have looked good, so, he can't be a miss either. Don't necessarily think that, correlation is causation, but what do I fucking know? I only have a college degree. But let's ignore the fact that, the Vikings are 5-1 straight up against the Falcons. why were we going to fade the 10-2 Vikings when Kirk Cousins has turned the ball over 6 times and has thrown no touchdowns, and he looks like Will Levis Sr.? It's the number. It's like you said. Why are we taking 5.5 with the Sam Darnold, laying 6 at home? They've covered all of 2 games since they returned to London. Let me reiterate that. Since the London game against the Jets, the Vikings have covered 2 games. They beat Joe Flacco by 8 to cover a 6.5 against the Colts. And they beat actual Will Levis by 10. They're 2-4-1 ATS in that stretch. And if Kirk Cousins does get his shit together, if he does look like his former self earlier in the year, they're going to hang tough with this Vikings team here. And I'll be even more bold to say something about Brian Flores. I said this shit last year, and I'm going to reiterate it again. He is the most inconsistent defensive coordinator I have ever seen in the NFL since probably Vic Fangio. He is so inconsistent. And I think that if he's on the block for a head coaching job, you have to look at certain games and scratch your head and say, what the fuck? They've gotten away with a super weak second half schedule. Again, since the London game, they beat the Jets. They barely win and cover. They lost to the Lions after giving up 30. They lost to the Rams after giving up 30. They played the weakest parts of the AFC South, as I mentioned, where if Mac Jones doesn't suck and he just throws one more touchdown, they lose that game. You know, they beat the Titans. They beat the fucking and I already mentioned the Colts. And then they played the Bears where they gave up a 27-16 lead in the final 2 minutes.
Oh, yep.
And the Cardinals where they had to come back down from 19-6. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not going to say the Vikings are a fraudulent 10-2 team, but they seem like a very, very super lucky team this year that has had a lot of things just bounce their way at the right time.
Can we call them the NFC Chiefs? Like, they're the NFC Chiefs.
I think we can. I think we can. I'm right there. Yeah, we're going to do that. The NFC Chiefs. This is like if one bounce goes the wrong way, if one thing doesn't go wrong, they're realistically like a 7-5 and 6-6 team. The Falcons, like I said, I think Kirko, this is his last stand. I'm gonna take a chance with Kirko here. I hope it doesn't bite me in the ass. He could get benched again. I mean, we saw this in Denver where he literally did nothing, but yeah, I don't know, man. I guess that's the thing. Like, if you really think we're wrong and you just think this is a fucking Vikings bet all day, I would hammer Kirk Cousins unders. I would hammer Kirk Cousins picks because there's a chance he doesn't see halftime if they get off to a bad start.
Oh yeah, if you disagree with us, definitely fade Kirko because yeah, I could see him getting like. Could you imagine him getting benched in Minnesota? That'd be brutal. Oh,
that would be ironic.
Just to support what you're saying, Vikings 7-1 in one possession games. So that just goes to show you how they're winning a ton of close games.
By the way, you can get the line at 6 points on DraftKings. So if you want the hook, which I would highly recommend you do in this kind of game, I definitely would go there. Yeah, Kirk Cousins' passing line is set at like 230. Is that right? 230?
Well, he's I think like his last 4 games in Minnesota, he's thrown for 280. But
it's 244.5.
Like some of the sharps think that he's hurt, and if you think he's going to get benched, I mean that should be an easy under for you. So
yeah, 244.5. If you think he's going to get benched, over under 1.5 touchdowns for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins to throw 2 touchdowns is plus money. Sam Darnold to throw a pick is minus 110.
Well, it is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has rediscovered himself.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I just think this is this is fade of the week. I'm fading the Vikings here. It's time. We need to hop off the train. Vikings could very well get got in this game. They could lose it outright. That's my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. Yep.
And yeah, real quick over under. I have under 46.5, but I'm not really strong on it. It's a tough number.
Yeah,
this kind of game.
I would go under as well. I think the games in Minnesota tend to go under. think 1-4 to the under in Minnesota, and the Falcons as underdogs have been an under team. 12 of the last 14 as underdogs have gone under.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, moving on. It's the goddamn Jets. They are catching. Is this number right now? No, no, hang on. Let me check.
Am I gonna have to change my best bet again?
No, they can't. Okay, DraftKings has it at 6. FanDuel has it at 5.5. The Jets are catching 5.5. This opened at 7. It's down to 5.5.
Those sharps are just.
Are you fucking kidding me? The Jets are catching 5.5 on the road in a divisional game as plus 220 road dogs against the Miami Dolphins. Laying 5.5, laying 270 on the money line. Over unders 44.5. Yeah, Dolphins are getting a lot of the tickets and the money according to FanDuel. What the? This can't be. It's my turn as too, isn't it? All right, here we go. You know what? Here we go. I've had it. I'm done. Aaron Rodgers documentary on Netflix comes out December 17th. If anybody wants, here, I have a sneak peek. I got to pull up the sneak peek. That actually got an exclusive inside where we got the theme song going for Aaron Rodgers documentary. Are you ready to hear it, Money Mansman?
Yeah, what do we got?
Hold on, let me make sure it loads because I have to pull it up. Give me a minute. Nope. Stupid ads on fucking YouTube. I'm poor.
Yep.
Here we go. It's Aaron Rodgers and the Clown Show and the New York Jets. Here we go. Do you want to be a clown? Clap your hands. Do you want to be a clown and bet the loser fucking Jets? Oh my fucking Lord. I cannot believe this. The Sharps are betting this down.
Yeah, some big syndicate put money on the Jets for, I don't know, reasons.
Wow.
You know, this is like the fifth. This is like the how many week in a row? Oh, you know, the Jets are due for a bounce back.
Yeah, okay. Sure, whatever. The Jets are on my auto fade list. They've lost 3 straight. They failed to cover 3 straight. Their quarterback's a hack, okay? Their quarterback is a clown, okay? The quarterback is a clown. Clap your hands. He is more worried about social media and this documentary with his electroshock fucking darkness therapy. This is I'm not even a Jets fan. What the flying fuck is this clown show of an organization doing? Firing their head coach mid-season, putting in Jeff Ulbrich, who has done absolutely fucking nothing for this team. He has been pathetic as an interim head coach. Aaron Rodgers is literally fucking throwing pick sixes to 400-pound men. But we're going to bet this down from 6.5 to 5.5. They're 3-11 ATS on the road since last season.
I can't believe it.
Miami's won 8 straight against the Jets at home.
There it is. Yep.
What are we doing, folks? Why?
Let's run
to the books. Let's get the syndicate. Let's bet the goddamn Jets. Let's drive the number down. I'm so fucking sharp. Aaron Rodgers is GOAT. Fuck Johnson & Johnson. Fuck vaccines. Bet the Jet. No. Just this stubbornness has gone too far. I've had enough. This is so... God, I'm not making this best bet. It is right there, though. I am right there. I'm literally. If this goes down to 4.5, it's best bet.
I'm shocked you didn't make it your best bet.
I'm right there. There's one game I'm like.
I was tempted. I was really tempted because this another. I don't know, man. The Jets are dead, and more importantly, okay, 8 straight, we got it. 2 is very good against the Jets at home. But just think about it. Dolphins have coming off a long rest, and this is their season. they're in desperation mode. They can't lose another game. They're going to lose
No.
at home to the Jets. Like, why? What have we seen from the Jets to make us think that? Like, the Jets lost to a hapless Seattle team at home last week. And now
I saw the Jets blow a 14-point lead by throwing to a 400-pound fat ass and letting him run 95 yards up and down the field. I mean,
yeah. Leonard Williams pick 6. That happened.
Sorry, I apologize. Leonard Williams. I called him fat ass, and I apologize. I should not put disrespect on Leonard Williams' name. Sir Williams of MetLife.
Sir Leonard Williams.
Owner of the New York Jetropolitans.
Not the ayahuasca head. Him, he doesn't get a name. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to bet, I'll probably bet the Jets maybe, I don't know, last game of the year. Because, Aaron Rodgers, he'll have his last game of the year where he shows up for no reason. But not this week. Let's be honest. They're in Miami. The Jets season's over. They're done. I don't know why.
They're talking Aaron Rodgers being let go.
I don't know why the Sharps continue to bet this team. It makes no sense. They just continue to bet around.
Opened, I'm pretty sure. I got to see. I'm checking the line movement again. I am pretty sure this opened at fucking 7. Why is this down to 5.5?
Telling you, I think I heard on
December 2nd, it was 7, and then it was 6.5.
Yes, there was a big syndicate who put money on the Jets, and I don't know
what syndicate. The syndicate of. God, I'm going to say something that'll get me fired. I can't.
Some syndicate of piss and shit.
A syndicate of syndromes? I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't understand. Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback. Why? I don't know. If it was Tyrod Taylor, maybe they get a boost, but no.
I mean, unless they have some insider information, that's the only thing. And this is another under game, under 44.5. This could be 30-3, and then maybe it ends 30-10, and you get scared. But I think this is probably over because I see Miami putting up a lot of points, and I don't know if Miami will pitch a shutout, but it'll be embarrassing. This reminds me, I think this is going to be like that Black Friday game where the Jets just get pulverized by Miami. That's right. The first Black Friday game was the Jets and Dolphins, and the Dolphins just it was the Dolphins. They just murked them in MetLife.
It was the Tim Boyle game. Remember, Tim Boyle was going to be the answer.
Oh yeah, and then he fucking died. Literally remembered who he was.
Then he remembered. Oh shit, I'm Tim Boyle. I've never won an NFL game before.
Oh boy. All right, yeah, you know what? 40 fuck it, over 44.5. I need an over pick. I think I've only had 2 so far this stretch, so yeah, I'll go over 44.5. I'm not too swayed one way or the other. This could be Miami explosion game where Tua goes for 400, Tyreek gets his yards, Jalen Waddle remembers he's a receiver. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go. All right. Last up in the 1 o'clock slate, it's the New Orleans Saints now laying 5.5 on the road, minus 245. They're going up against Drew Lock and doubles for Drew with the New York Giants at plus 200 odds on the money line. 5.5 is the cover. 41.5 is the total. The Saints are a big public team this week. 85% of the money, 75% of the tickets. On Derek Carr. Yikes. All right, Derek Carr fanboy, money mansman here. Why are we laying 5.5 with the Saints?
Because the Giants are terrible, I guess. This is another game I absolutely despise. Reactionary, I want to play the Giants just because I don't feel like the Saints should be laying points against anybody. And I remember for some reason the last time New Orleans was at home, went to New York against the Giants, they lost. I don't know if I could. This Giants team is so bad.
4 straight they've lost on the road.
Who, New Orleans?
Yeah.
The problem is the Giants. What's the like? If the Giants won a home game this year?
No, they have not.
Like, they're terrible at home. Have they even gotten close? Here we go. Oh my God! Listen to some of these scores at home: 30-7 to Tampa, 27-22 to Washington. Oh, don't worry, we're getting worse. 28-3 to the Eagles, 17-7 Bengals, 20-15 Dallas, 28-6 Vikings. Like, I don't know, man.
Now, to be fair, though, how many of those games were Daniel Jones and how many of those games were like
yeah, that's true.
Prime time. All right, fine. You know what? Here's my pick.
Yeah,
I guess the Saints.
I guess the
Fuck
Saints.
it.
I guess the Saints. Yeah.
Yeah, 0-6 straight up, 1-5 ATS at home for this Giants team. Yeah, they're on auto fade. Both New York teams, and by New York I mean New Jersey teams. Both New Jersey teams are on my auto fade list. They're not bettable.
Yeah.
Saints are damn near close.
Defense is terrible. Alvin Kamara probably run for like 250 yards.
Yeah, it's the Saints or nothing here. Saints all the way, and I have under in this game as well, only because I just don't. You gave me the scores. I just don't. Really, it's a Giants team total under. That might be another live bet. I may look into that, but yeah, I have no faith in. Sorry, Drew. Like, all due respect, you showed up, you did your job, but
I think maybe the handicap's just like the Saints are playing tough for Coach Rizzi. The Giants have basically laid down and died for Coach Daboll.
Yeah. Is this another one? Yeah, this is another one. 17.5. Same thing.
Wow. Yeah. I'll leave you with this because it's going to be my standard break during the show. But I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this one, buddy. I never want to hear how it was Brian Daboll who made Josh Allen. You are now seeing how much of a bum Brian Daboll was. Bum. Remember when he was going to make Daniel Jones a quarterback? Pepperidge Farms remembers.
On that note, I'll be back. Mansman's going to take his usual break. In the meantime, we've gone over the 1 o'clock games. We're now going into the 4 o'clocks. We do hope you guys have a happy holidays. I did mention that I was going to give out a parlay for the Detroit Lions game. However, I never ended up actually placing it. So right now, while we're in the middle of this break, I'm going to go ahead and give you my parlay. And we kind of already gone over the games, but you can get these two teams at -110. This is my parlay of the week. I'll type it up as we talk about it. But it's the Tampa Bay Bucks at -270 and the Miami Dolphins at -250. This is going to be my parlay of the week. You can parlay them both. Get it at -110 odds right now on DraftKings. 8 straight the Dolphins have won against the New York Jets. We really like the Bucks at home against the Raiders, who really aren't as good on the road. This is a money line perspective. We're just talking wins. Bucks in a must-win situation. The Raiders' playoff chances are essentially all but dead. So I really like the value here. Now, if you want to get cute, because these are damn near teaser legs, if you want to take those two money lines and juice it up even more, you could take another game that we'll mention later. It's a 4-point spread. That'll be the giveaway. It's a 4-point spread right now. Tease that up to 10. You can get it +160. So that could be your teaser leg, depending on how you want to play it, but I'm just going to stick with the money line. But yeah, parlay of the week is going to be Tampa Bay and Miami money line at -110. All right, guys, we'll be back with a quick break. All right, and Money Mansman has returned.
Coming back.
All right. Yeah, I never really gave an over-under total for the Giant Saints, so I'm going under 41.5 in that one. I just think it's going to be bad, but I think no, we did talk about it. But yeah, I talked about
endorse. Definitely.
Parlay of the week. Yeah, so this was me trying to build a teaser, but those two on the money line, we really like them both to win. You can get it minus 110. There's another game later. They are a 4-point team. That's the hint. They're a 4-point team, but if you tease that team up to 10 and throw it in, you can get plus 160.
Yeah, that's a sharp play. They're hearing a lot of sharps liking that one.
Yeah, it's a very big public teaser. That's the only concern. But all right, I gave out my parlay of the week. So moving on, we're going into the 4 o'clock slate. Oh shit! Hang on. There we go. All right, moving on. 4 o'clock slate. It is the Seattle Seahawks. They're traveling to the Arizona Cardinals. They're 2.5-point road dogs, plus 120. Cardinals minus 142 on the money line. Over-under is 44.5 points. Arizona's getting 57% of the money, but Seattle is getting 54% of the ticket. So it's kind of a pros Joe situation. Mansman, I'm going to defer to you on this one. No Brian Daboll excuse here, but this is a tough one as well. 2 out of 3 weeks these teams have played each other.
Yeah, it's really hard, and I got burned last time. And in the words of mediocre American president, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and you can't get fooled again. So I am going with the Seattle Seahawks plus the points. Seahawks, I neglected the last time. The Seahawks actually have now won 6 straight against Arizona. They've covered 6 straight as underdogs against Arizona. I'm at a loss with these two teams. I actually thought Arizona was the better team, and they've lost a couple close games recently. And I'm just wondering if Arizona's maybe coming back down to earth. Maybe they're not ready yet. Seattle found a way to win. This is a tough back-to-back road spot, though, in New York and now in Arizona. But I don't know. The Seahawks team they really impressed me how they dealt with Arizona. How they dealt with Arizona the last time.
It was really ugly, but I'm with you.
Ugly, but they held them to 6 points, and Arizona couldn't run the ball to save their lives. So I don't know. To me, it's when in doubt, take the points. Flow chart, take the points. NFC West, I'm no good. Take the points. I'm just going to take the points in this one. So give me Seattle.
Yeah, NFC flow chart here. Now, I will say Cardinals at home used to be an auto fade spot. This year, they've done a lot better. 4-2 ATS on the year and straight up. They've won and covered 3 straight. Not particularly anything good, though. I got to pull one more stat real quick just to make sure, because I want to make sure I got this number right. I wrote it down, but for some reason it's not adding up, so I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Maybe I wrote a year down wrong, but of course things are slow on this end, but come on, any second now. Yeah, okay, so it was right. 3-7 ATS the Cardinals are at home against divisional opponents. And now they're favored. Doesn't make sense to me. This is a flow chart game. Didn't like other options, but this is my dog of the week. I'm going Seattle on the money line. I got to make up for last time. I also faded them. Also went with the Cardinals, and that bit me in the fucking ass. Not going to make the same mistake again. The Cardinals, literally, the last time they were at home against a divisional opponent, it was the Rams game week 2. And that was a weird, ugly, fluky win. But a lot of people, I think we forget that, last season and, in the past, the Cardinals are no good at home against divisional opponents. They lose outright. They've lost outright. I think it's 8 straight prior to the Rams victory. But now we're going to take them as 2.5-point home favorites. Weird, and again, like the weird back-to-back road spot with the Seahawks, with the crazy win there. I get it. Cardinals haven't really looked good either. They're falling back to earth. I just have no faith in them. I think I had the Cardinals as under 6.5 wins. They're a 6-6 team. I'm looking for spots to fade them from here on out. Like, I gotta be careful with when I bet on Atlanta or Arizona. I just don't think this is the spot to do it. So Seattle plus 2.5, I think, is a great middle, but I'm going Seattle money line here if I'm gonna keep the streak riding. So I don't see Kyler Murray showing up in this spot personally.
Yeah, no, I like it. Midget Boy is back.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's numbers.
He's lost a couple games, so he is now back to Midget Boy.
Yeah, Kyler Murray in his last 4 games. Listen to these stats. Since November against Chicago, 154 yards, 88.3 passer rating, no touchdowns, no picks. Against the Jets, where it was 30-6, 266 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 126. The Seattle Seahawks game the first time, 285 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, a 77 rating. Now he's going up against Minnesota, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 72.5. Yeah, he's trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's like one of those Call of Duty players who's gotten off a big kill streak. Kyler Murray would know what I'm talking about.
Well, and the one thing I will say, like last week that the Seattle Seahawks managed to do effectively was stop the Jets' run game. And that's the one thing like the Cardinals have to do to open it up. If they rely on Kyler to throw, he's going to make mistakes. I don't think it's going to be a boring 16-6 game, but I trust the flow chart.
I thought for sure that Arizona was going to run roughshod over him, and the top rusher had like 30 yards rushing. So that was a wake-up call.
Yeah, man.
That one hurt. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Big Bucks is gone. We've lost Big Bucks. That is not good. I will give my over-under play then because we have lost Big Bucks. So my over-under play for this game, I'm going under. Games in Arizona have leaned under, 2-4 to the under. And the Cardinals in their last 4 have actually been an under team. We saw in the first game, it was a close battle, 16-6. That number was 46.5. Little different here because the number has reduced down to, I believe we're down to 44.5 now. So looking at that, I'm going to go with the under here. I'm going with Arizona, Seattle under 44.5. Hopefully Big Bucks will be back in a minute. That was pretty strange. I don't know what happened to him. Just a recap of my best plays thus far. Really only had one. My best bet, the Tennessee Titans minus 3.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I endorse Big Bucks Abeda's. I endorse his money line parlay with the Bucks Dolphins. I think that's a very good play. So yeah, I guess we'll see. We're going to take a short break now. I'm going to see if I could get Big Bucks back on. So stay tuned.
All right. Mr. Mansman, are you there?
Okay, we are back. Whew.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. We'll edit that out in the audio version. I don't know what happened there, but it kicked me out, unfortunately. But we're back.
Big Bucks is back. I gave my over-under pick while you were away. I picked the under 44.5 for this game.
Is that your over-under pick of the week?
No, just my over-under pick for this game.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I'm going back to the under. I think Seattle with the back-to-back road spot is a bit of a concern. The defense is one of those things where, like, I don't know where the defense steps up. But I think if it's a similar game plan like they did with the Jets, it's just, can they stop them in the first quarter? They held the Cardinals to 6 last time, so I think it shouldn't be a problem here. And Gino, I don't think, like, this to me has the makings of, like, 23-17.
And the Cardinals have been on an under streak. They've actually been an under team lately.
Gotcha. All right, well, I'll go ahead and introduce the next game while I'm still alive on this channel. Okay, moving on. We have scrolling. Okay, Chicago Bears. They are catching 3.5 on the road. They're plus 154 road underdogs. They are traveling to Levi Stadium to face the San Francisco 49ers, who are 3.5-point home favorites, minus 184. Over-unders 44.5. Chicago is getting 66% of the tickets, 64% of the money. So they're a public road dog against this injury-riddled Niners team. I had to watch both my starting running back, and I had to watch my backup that I stashed for my keeper league. I had to watch them both get put on the IR this week. So rough week for Niners fans, rough week for fantasy owners. Oh, man. Mansman. Bears 3.5. They're getting. Oh, yeah. Matt Eberflus. Ding dong, the witch is dead. He's fired. Do we get a dead cat bounce here?
So,
with a quarterback's coach who's been promoted 3 times.
The meteoric rise of Anthony Brown, the quarterback's coach. Who is he the quarterback's coach for again? Some bum. Not this year. Wasn't he the offensive coordinator for some shit team last year?
I'll look him up. God, it sounds familiar. Anyways, there's a
this to me, the Niners are so underbet in this game. It's unbelievable. So they're in a back-to-back road spot. Literally the worst case imaginable. They lose with their backup quarterback. Then they go to Buffalo in the worst spot imaginable and get trounced. And now all of a sudden they're like, they're getting no money against the Chicago Bears. I am on San Francisco all the way in this game. I know they have the new coach. I'm so sick of hearing about.
He was the
bounce.
Okay, so he was the Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator last year with Bryce Young.
Okay, there we go. No further questions, Your Honor. Come on, guys. Like, Chicago's no good. They're literally the guy who was their quarterback's coach like a month ago is now their interim head coach. This Chicago Bears team is a disaster case. They're done. They're dead. I think they're going to lay down and die in this game. And I kind of like it. San Francisco, I heard a lot that the Bills game might have been the dream crusher. That's good for me because I feel like a lot of times with these dream crusher games, the team has pride the next week before they inevitably roll over and die. And I have it going to be the week where San Francisco shows pride, gets a win before they roll over and die. I'm going with the Niners here. No reason to bet the Bears in this spot.
Yeah, I find no fault in your logic, sir. No objections from the defense over here. God, like, to give you an idea, Matt Eberflus, his regime, wasn't it like oh, and you have to correct me on the numbers, wasn't it like 0-18 on the road?
0-18 on the road. 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 0-18 on the road.
for the Bears?
Well, pretty bad. I know they've lost 7 straight on the road. The Bears have.
Yeah. Actually, it's weird. Like, I'm looking at the numbers since 2021. The Bears, in their last 5, they've gone 4-1 straight up in ATS. They actually beat the Niners in the beginning of the 2022 season when they beat Trey Lance, it looks like.
That's the only down thing. The Niners not good covering against the NFC North.
God, am I? Yeah, I can't. God,
this
is an ugly
six straight. 6 straight failed covers against the NFC North for the Niners.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that there was right spots to be on the Bears getting points. And I think this is like you're buying high on a Bears team that just constantly loses. They're in a, like, I don't know. Like, I don't even see this as a dead cat bounce. This is like the one spot in your offense that was going right with this guy being your OC. Now he can't focus on that anymore. Who the fuck is taking over there? The Niners, I mean, they're injury riddled, but the one thing we know is that they could fill anyone in running back. They'll be fine. Tough loss in the snow in Buffalo. I don't think that's a soul crusher per se, but I think in a division that's, let's be honest, very live, they could win out and still make it. So I don't think they're as dead in the water as we necessarily make them out to be. The Bears, on the other hand, I just think they're waiting for next season. They need a new head coach. They're looking towards the draft. Their season's over. I just have no faith. I'm taking the 3.5. I'm not, like, in doubt, just taking the points. I'm with you. This is a Niners or nothing spot. So I got nothing further to say here. And I do lean over on the total with it being at 44.5. I just think that the Niners wake up spot, win one for Christian McCaffrey, win one for Brock Purdy. You know, show up against a team that everybody's going to count you out on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a big feeling on this game over under. I think the Bears on the road have been an under team, but I tend to lean over like you. I just have a feeling San Fran's going to score a little bit in this game, and 27-21 jumps out at me for this game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Last 4 o'clock game, it's the Buffalo Bills coming off the snow game. This is another game that dropped. What on earth? The Bills are 3.5-point road favorites, minus 190, going to SoFi Stadium to take on the LA Rams, who are catching 3.5 plus 160. The over-under is 49.5. Did anybody watch the Rams last game against the Saints? Did you watch it, Mansman?
Not much to watch, really. Wasn't all that interesting.
I'll give you a hint. The Saints blew 7 minutes and then fumbled the ball to lose the game. Are the Bills going to do that? I don't think so. What the fuck? 3.5? It's your oh, God. Wait, is it? It's my turn, too, isn't it? Technically.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're going strong, buddy. You're an honorary member.
You know what? I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. Best bet.
I
Minus
couldn't
3.
make it my best bet because I made it my best bet last week. It'd be too much of a hole.
That's fair. What the fuck are we doing, folks? The Bills are a non-conference road favorite. AFC teams this year alone have gone 10-5 ATS as non-conference road favorites. Josh Allen is 7-0 as a non-conference road favorite, 6-1 ATS. The Rams have the Thursday night football look ahead to the Niners. And teams on the Thursday night football look at are only 16-10 straight up. So, I mean, it's actually kind of positive. But Rams as home underdogs versus the AFC since they moved to LA in 2016. 2-5 ATS. Their last win was in 2022 to Denver. The Rams have not beaten the Buffalo Bills at home in LA since 1983. They have, think about that. The Rams, the LA Rams, have not beaten the Buffalo Bills ever since moving back to LA.
Yep. Bills have been very good against the Rams recently. That's for sure.
Look, there's one thing I know about Buffalo Bills look-aheads because they have a look-ahead to Detroit. They don't look ahead. They look at who's in front of them. They beat them up.
Although, to be fair, my handicap was always they're going to win this game and lose in Detroit.
Yeah, but I think it's a double sandwich spot. Like, you have the Rams and Niners next week for the Rams, and that's a look ahead. The Bills have a look ahead too. So, like, I think it counteracts each other personally.
I don't think the Bills have a real look ahead. I don't think that's a real look ahead.
It depends on where the division stands. I'll be honest with you. That NFC West is very open right now. I can't
punch their division. So
yeah. So I mean, maybe the Bills have the look ahead, but to me, like, Matt Milano coming back just was such a fucking difference on your defense. I hate to say it, but God, you could just see. And again, I don't know if it was the snow or if it really was just that the Bills are that much better. But the Rams did not particularly impress me last week. They haven't really looked that impressive all year. They've been a very up and down team. They looked like horse shit against the Saints. The Saints are not a good team. The Saints are a very bad team, actually, in my opinion. They are horrible. They're going to probably miss the playoffs. They let Derek Carr hang in there. They almost gave the game away to Derek Carr until Derek Carr did Derek Carr things. And the Bills just mollywopped the one team that the Rams have struggled against. I don't know if call it flow chart, call it like fucking law of thermodynamics. I don't fucking care. Like, Bills minus 3.5, hammer it all the way. I bet it at 4.5 and hammered it with 2 units because I just thought the number was too low. Yeah. Again, like, think of it this way: the Bills were 6.5 point favorites. They were favorites. They were 6.5 point favorites against the Rams or against the Niners at home.
At home.
Now you're on the road and it was 4.5, and I was like, okay, 2 point home difference. Okay. And now it's dropped to 3.5? Did another syndicate with syndromes come in and fucking bet the Rams on this one too? Like, I don't know. I heard a couple sharp angles on, like, the Rams. I didn't fucking agree with it whatsoever, but you're the Bills fan. You know more about the team than I do, so I'm going to give it to you. Take it away. But this is my best bet. Give me the Bills.
I mean, these mediocre teams, these are the types of teams that the Bills just kill. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Bills could come up limp. But you look at the Rams, like, their offense is mediocre. Kyron Williams is good, but they're not particularly great at running the ball. Passing, Puka Nacua could be a problem, but you know the Bills are just going to sit in that fucking zone. So there's literally one guy they have to take away. And then on defense, the Rams' defense sucks. We know that. They're no good. Like, come on, the Rams' defense is no good. They can't stop the run. They don't really get pressure. They don't cause turnovers. Like, the Bills are just the better team. They've done very well against the Rams. The Rams have not been good as underdogs against the AFC East. This is kind of a no-brainer, really. I didn't really understand the number. Maybe people thought, oh, well, the Bills clinched the division. Maybe it'll be a letdown. But this team's been in the playoffs so much, they're going for the 1 seed. It's not like the Bills are content now. They're going to be the 1 seed. So this is a game I think you're going to see Mitch Trubisky in. I think you're going to see Mitchell Trubisky in this game as well.
All right, what's your take?
How many games has Mitch Trubisky played this year? Like, it goes to show you how many games the Bills have just mollywopped the opposition.
We saw him against Jacksonville. We saw him against
Miami the first time.
We unfortunately saw him with Baltimore.
Oh, God. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah, so at least 3. This could be 4.
Last week we saw him. Yeah.
Oh, Christ, we did. Yeah,
This
5.
could be like his 5th appearance this year. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my Lord.
Triples
All
for
right.
Trubisky.
I'll die. 49.5. God, that seems high, but I could see it.
Well, I think the Bills are going to get 30. So
yeah, do the Rams get 20? Really is the question. I don't think they do. I think they get like 17. I wouldn't sniff the team totals on this one. I don't know. I've been really bad with the high total games. I've done really well with the lower ones. Like this Thursday, I thought it was going to be under 51.5 at the Lions Packers. Goes to show what I know. 49.5. I want to take the under, but something is telling me to just, if it's going to be a Bills blowout, this will hit over.
Yeah, it very well could. I don't know. It's tough. God, that's crazy. The Josh Allen to score 2 touchdowns plus 550. He scored 2 touchdowns in each of the Bills' last 3 December games. It's crazy.
Bills are a dead over team too, 8-4 on the season. I'm going over 49.5.
Rams have been as underdogs have been a dead over team too. I guess I'd have to look over.
Yeah, I'm going to look over here. I wanted to go under, but I can't get there, so we're going over. All right, Sunday Night Football. It's the game of the week, allegedly. Mahomes is allegedly the GOAT. Oh, this line flipped back. Okay, so FanDuel odds, 3.5 points for the Chargers, plus 176 on the money line. They're traveling to Arrowhead to take on Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Minus 210, minus 3.5 on the spread. Over-under is only 42.5. LA is another public team. 52% of the money, 56% of the bets. Chargers are really good on the spread. Kansas City, not so much. 4-7-1 for the Chiefs. 8-3-1 for the Chargers. This, to me, is like a battle of the AFC West. Chiefs win this, I think they clinch the division.
Chiefs win this, they probably clinch the 1 seed, I would think.
Maybe. Yikes. I think it's your turn to go ahead. Yeah. So kick us off for Sunday Night Football. Who do you got on this one?
I need a dog of the week, and it's a Barney dog, but I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Chargers plus 4.
Oh boy.
The Chiefs are begging for a loss. They really should have lost the last 2 weeks. And you look at it. Chargers are well coached. They play a lot of close games. It's over a field goal. I don't see the Chiefs putting up margin in this game. And if you remember, against the Chargers, you could say, oh, well, the Chiefs beat them 17-10. Remember, that was a game where you had the ghost of Justin Herbert, who was literally playing like coming out of a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Like, you had a hobbled Justin Herbert, and they still only won by a touchdown. Like, to me, I honestly think that the Chargers are going to win this game outright. Kind of cool that you put the money line up there because, yeah, I think with the Chargers, you could definitely lose by a field goal. And I actually think the Chargers are going to win. I think the Chiefs are begging for a loss. I don't think this Chiefs team is really all that good. I mean, you're looking at the Chiefs. Let's play the game like we did with Minnesota. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, 9-0 in one possession games.
Yep.
9-0. That's got to change eventually. They're due for a loss. They've gotten so many lucky bounces. I think this is the week they get got. And I think you've been a big thing because primetime Patty Mahomes is a big thing. But if I remember correctly, he's not always so great in primetime, is he?
It's specifically Sunday Night Football he tends to struggle in.
Oh,
if memory serves me correct. Actually, I think it's 2 straight Sunday Night Footballs against the Chargers he's lost. If memory serves me correct. Big F. But, damn, we finally found a game we disagreed on. I'm actually going with Kansas City on this one.
That's ballsy. I kind of like it, though.
It's ballsy. I don't like the Chargers as a public road dog. I don't like them as a public divisional road underdog. The Chargers have lost 6 straight to Kansas City.
That's the thing. They lose.
They haven't covered 3 straight against them. And Kansas City has blown 3 straight games at home where they should have lost. They're just finding ways to win. But you have to think, too, like ATS-wise, they were, 13 points against the Raiders? 13 against the fucking the Panthers? 10.5 or something against the Broncos? 9.5, 10 against the Bucks, where we knew, like, these teams are better than that number. The Chargers...
Look, I'll give you the Bucks because that was a 6-point win and they were 8-point favorites. But they beat Denver, the Panthers, and the Raiders by a combined 7 points total. Like,
yeah, I see your point.
They should have lost to the Raiders and Broncos.
I see your point. So my parlay of the week, for those of you who remember, so on DraftKings, the line's at 4. If you tease that up to 10 and parlay with those 2 money lines, you can get plus 160. If you want to make the Chargers a double-digit dog and try to play that angle, that's my advice. Personally, I think this is like you're buying the Chiefs as low as you can right now with them at 3.5 at home, Sunday Night Football, where, you know, admittedly Mahomes does struggle and the Chargers have had the better of the Chiefs in prime time. I still have major questions about this Chargers team. Every primetime game, if you go back, they lost to the fucking Cardinals. I want to say they damn near lost to the Cowboys. I mean, I got to look at their schedule, but I mean, I'm just thinking too, earlier this year. I mean, where's ATS? I'm trying to remember all the primetime games I've seen them on. But literally, like the most recent one, the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football, they almost blew that game and almost let the Bengals come back and win. Lost to the Cardinals. Baltimore, Monday Night Football, Battle of the Harbaughs. They lost 23-30. Doesn't seem like Justin Herbert's been doing good either in prime time. You know, and really, it may be the Harbaugh effect where, like, maybe he just doesn't do well in primetime. Maybe he does well against shit teams in the normal slates. But, you know, the minute the lights are on and it's a competitive team, he just tends to, you know, fault and stumble. He did that a lot in college, too, if you remember, when in his time in Michigan. Whenever he would go up against the Big Ten teams, whenever he would go up and it was prime time, he would always find ways to choke. And I just think he's brought that back into the NFL. Well, unfortunately,
buddy. Hard to say that.
Yeah, without the cheating, okay. Was he there? Was he not suspended? I mean, that's just. I don't know. I'll like again. I think the Chargers are getting a little bit overrated in this spot. That's why I'm going Kansas City, because I could see them winning by 4. This could be a 24-20 game. With the Chargers having the ball, driving it, but they need the touchdown and they just don't get it. Like, that's the kind of game I see here on Sunday night. Or I could see, you know, Harbaugh 24-20, he kicks a 3, and then the Chiefs drive the ball down and win it. And they get the touchdown, and they get the cover. Like, it could be close, but I just don't. I have no faith in the Chargers in primetime yet. They haven't really shown me much in that spot, to be honest with you, so kind of fading the spot for the Chargers, to be quite frank. That's my take.
All right. Well, that's bold. I give you credit. That's a bold take. A lot of the sharps are – I feel like even some of the sharps are on the Chargers, although it is a bit of a Barney public sort of – I feel like a lot of people are just fading the Chiefs. I just think well-deserved. I think this is one of those things you overthink it. Like,
oh yeah,
Chiefs. I think are due for an L.
Oh, you're 100% right. I don't disagree with your take. I just don't think the Chargers are going to be the team to do it. I think it's coming up, though.
Maybe I'm just rooting for it. Maybe it's just my fan.
Oh, trust me, I'll be fucking rooting for it as a Broncos fan. Believe me, I will be rooting my ass off for that. All right, Monday Night Football. It's the Simpsons game. Eli and Peyton Manning get a break on this one. We got the fucking Simpsons coming in to do a game for Monday Night Football.
Oh, Jesus.
It's the goddamn Dallas Cowboys. They're 5.5-point home underdogs, plus 194. They're hosting the Cincinnati Bengals as a non-conference road favorite, minus 5.5, minus 235. Over-under is 49.5 as well. Bengals are getting money in the tickets at 66%. Oh, boy. I have not given out an under of the week yet, so under 49.5. It's wrong. It's wrong. I shouldn't do it. The Bengals defense is horrid. Like, they're that pathetic.
Dallas's defense supposedly is getting better. They did give up 20 to the Giants, though.
They're getting healthier. Trayvon Diggs is expected to return. Yeah. I don't have much for this game. This is like the worst primetime game I think we've seen in a while. Not that excited. Literally, like, they're literally having to hype The Simpsons to make this game watchable. Oh, yeah, funny thing. They were going to flex this game out of Monday Night Football. However, The Simpsons production cast came back and said, no, you can't flex it. We already have too much artwork invested, so we won't be able to do our thing, and you'll be in a breach of contract if you flex the game out. So they had to keep it.
This is so bad. By the way, I won't be watching this game. I'm in Cumberland that morning, so I am going to be tired. So I will not be watching this game.
All right, yeah. Here you go. The one trend you're going to go up against, if you're going to be like me and be a Barney and take Dallas, the Bengals as a non-conference road team, they're 6-0 straight up in ATS in their last 6. The last time they lost, though, ironically enough, was Dallas.
Yeah, I remember that game.
This is a shit show.
By the way, I'm missing one of my best plays, my fade of the week. And for once, I'm not fading Cincinnati. It's time to fade the Cowboys.
Really?
Week. Cincinnati just had their dream crusher. Their season is over. This is their pride game. I don't know. Dallas, to me, no offense, they beat Washington. That was cool. They didn't look great against the Giants by any means. I'm not sold on this Dallas team. Cincinnati, you gave the stat. They've been good against the NFC on the road. I think for Cincinnati, this is their pride game. This is their Monday Night Football time to have their last good performance of the year before the season ends. I see Cincinnati actually putting up some points in this game. I don't think Dallas's defense is that good. I think Cincinnati's probably the better team. I'm going to go with Cincinnati here. They'll probably fail me. They've been no good all year, but I think this is Cincinnati's game to lose. I think they're going to put up some points in this game.
Yeah, they might put up points and Dallas might not. That's kind of why I'm going with the under. Or I think vice versa. Dallas's defense will for once show up and Burrow will struggle. And this is just going to be a deadbolt under game. Rest disparity is the huge factor for me. The Bengals are coming off of a big shootout with Pittsburgh. They're now having to go to Monday Night Football, but the Cowboys are getting extra rest from Thanksgiving when they beat a Giants team where, let's be honest, they really didn't put in the most effort. And now, you're in Jerry world. They got over the hump. They finally won a home game and covered too. Cooper Rush seems to be getting a little bit more comfortable. And the Bengals defense being abysmal, listen to the numbers. 369.2 yards per game on average allowed to opponents. They are tied with the Panthers for allowing the most touchdowns in the year. 41 on the ground with the rushing, 22 through the air.
Yeah.
They are the literal AFC Carolina Panthers of defenses.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not good. I mean, this is a clear over game. And I'm pretty sure every Monday night game has been going over, too. I don't know what your underplay was. That was weird.
My underplay is one of these teams is not going to show up. I don't know which one who, and I'm basically betting it'll be Cincy. Now, Zach Martin and I think Tyler Guyton is his name. Their top two O-linemen for Dallas are going to probably be out. They haven't practiced yet. I haven't really checked. So that's a game time thing to keep an eye on. So Cooper, it might be Dallas that doesn't show up, and I could just be wrong. I think 49.5. I mean, this Bengals team, like you said, they just have been getting like fucking ran over and like beat down on defense.
They give
up Cooper Rush really.
Russell Wilson. They give up 44 points to Russell Wilson. Jesus, bro, Russell Wilson has found his career. He's back. Yeah. He's having just a good enough year to steal fucking another $60 million from the Steelers.
Yeah, he might. I mean, that's the crazy thing.
Wilson wanted signs again.
Yeah, and I'm looking at your Monday Night Football games. 3 weeks in a row, the overs hit, but the under hit on the Miami Rams game.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. It's been they've been higher scoring recently. So, yeah.
Yeah, but over week 8, week 9, week 7 was an under. Oh, yeah. Shit, it's really been an over hit for Monday Night Football. Oh, no shit. I guess we're due.
There you go, buddy. I'll let you take it.
I guess we're due.
In the words of a good salesman, I know there hasn't been a volcano. Aren't you?
Volcano insurance.
That's what Bucks needs. Is Monday Night Football under insurance.
We'll see how the Sunday games go when I put in my bets, but yeah, that's it. That's all our games.
Yeah.
All right. Closing remarks. We'll give out our best bets one more time. Money Man's been taken away. Give us your best bets.
Yeah, these are terrible. Play them at your own risk. Tennessee Titans -3.5. My best bet. Yep, that shows you how this week's gonna go. Fade of the week. Fading the Dallas Cowboys. Going with the Cincinnati Bengals, who I never bet on. Finally, my dog of the week, the Barney dog. LA Chargers +4 at Kansas City.
All right. My best bets of the week. We're going Buffalo -3.5 as my best bet of the week. We are going dog of the week. Seattle Seahawks +120. Fade of the week. We are fading the Minnesota Vikings. I'm taking Atlanta plus the 5.5. My over of the week is over 43.5 points at the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. Under of the week, do it at your own risk. It's under 49.5 for the Simpsons game with Cincinnati and Dallas. Parlay of the week, parlay the Dolphins and the Buccaneers each to win. You can get -110 on FanDuel. Add in the Chargers +10. You can get it boosted to +150.
Yep.
That could be my teaser of the week.
All right. All folks.
All right. That's it for the Distinguished DeGents. Thank you guys for tuning in. For all of you who did catch us or listen to this episode for whatever reason. I hope you like winning motherfucking money. I know we do, but we are signing off. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on Wednesday when we do the recap. I'm Big Bucks Beta.
Money Man's been signing off. Remember that winners get to eat.
Winners get to shower.
Winners get to eat. Winners get to shower and make that motherfucking money.
Have a good night, DeGents.